At the Playmakers Network, sports are more than games. They're a community. From basketball and college football to professional wrestling and Rams football, our shows keep fans informed, entertained, and connected. Watch live, listen on your favorite podcast platform, and join the conversation. The Playmakers Network. Sports, community, conversation.
I feel blessed, that's evident. I'm the best I've ever been. Okay. So if they ask you how I feel, what's up? I'ma tell you I feel amazing. I feel blessed, that's evident. I'm the best I've ever been. Yeah. So if they ask you how I feel, what's up? I'ma tell you I feel amazing. I feel blessed, that's evident. I'm the best I've ever been. I am. So if they ask you how I feel, what's up? I'ma tell you I feel amazing. I feel blessed, that's evident. I'm the best I've ever been. Yeah. So if they ask you how I feel, I'ma tell you I feel amazing.
And yeah. Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry.
When are you ever sorry?
I thought we were off air.
Already kicking off the show line already.
Well, I'm not lying.
He said he thought we were off air. You know.
Yeah. I was hearing the music. I was singing along. You know, I mean, I can't help it. I can't help it.
You didn't have to lie about it. You just could have said I was enjoying the music.
Well, I was enjoying the music, but I was in the flow. I was in the feel because I feel amazing.
And why do you feel amazing?
2 weeks from today, I'm headed to the city behind my screen. Yes, I love Dallas. Oh, it's gonna be on.
He do not love Dallas. That man hates every team that is in Dallas.
That is not true. I don't hate the Cowboys.
You don't hate them because Cowboys fans bring you such laughter.
Yes, they bring me such joy. They provide Christmas in August every August. I love it, and then they make the football season even better. I love it. When I see the delusions of grandeur burn in front of their eyes, it's just, it's almost as good as sex, but it's not. But it's very close. But no, I do love Dallas. I love Dallas. It's going to be great to see it again.
Can you do the intro, please, sir?
It'll be wonderful to see it again. And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to Bearing Down the Gridiron. Sharp takes, smarter debates, all college football, and all love from two gridiron enthusiasts with Darnell, Playmaker Silence. I am the S, the dot, the Cole, the dot, the Johnson. And I'm here along with my wonderful, esteemed co-host to bring you college football action the way you like it, the way you deserve it, and the way you need it. Now, if you're following us on the Playmakers Network YouTube channel, we thank you. If you're following us on Playmakers LinkedIn page, we thank you again. If you're following us on many places you can hear us audibly, you know, like
Facebook.
Spotify.
Yeah, we're live on Facebook.
You keep this up, I'm gonna be like, I love Dallas the whole show.
You do realize who was in control. You do that stuff, right?
Well, fine. I'll rephrase. I'll do I love Dallas the whole show till you kick me off the show.
That could be right now.
I mean, permanently. Anyway, like Spotify, like iHeartRadio, like Amazon Prime, like Apple Podcasts, like Facebook.
You didn't know we was live on Facebook, so I had to throw it in there.
Not in the midst of me kicking to it.
You weren't gonna say Facebook.
Then we thank you for listening to us on those platforms and others where you can download podcasts. And yes, we can watch us as well on the Facebook Playmakers Network Facebook page too. Now,
you got one more thing.
Oh, I know the one more thing, but I was going to say.
No, I don't make sure we was on that this time.
Okay. I was going to ask, are we live? We are. We are live on the Real Wise Global Network's Real Wise Radio channel. We thank you, Wise Alefe, for bringing us that wonderful love on the airwaves. And we hope everything's good with you, my man. And we're going to be chopping it up real soon. Oh, heck. He goes with the Florida shit.
You just now figured out what type of hat I had on?
I wasn't looking at you because I know you was what with the shenanigans. I was dealing with your shenanigans. Then I saw the biggest of shenanigans with that orange F.
There's no shenanigans on you in that dumbass background. That's the shenanigans.
First of all, the background's not dumb. The background is art. Secondly, the background is full of truth.
No, the background is clean. It's still a dumbass background though. Because it's you.
Listen, I don't call your hat dumb because it's you wearing it.
I'm not the one who dislikes every single team in a certain city and then comes around and says he loves that same city.
I do. I love Dallas.
That's what makes that background a dumbass one.
I mean, I do. I love Dallas. I love Dallas. It's the same thing. I love Nashville, but I hate the Titans. I mean, what's the difference?
You don't hate Vanderbilt,
Nashville, but I hate the Titans.
You don't hate Vanderbilt.
I don't hate Vanderbilt. Right, I don't hate Vanderbilt.
You don't run down every single team in that same city. Oh, what you can't stand. When it comes to Dallas, you go down the list.
Right. But yes, I love Dallas, but I hate TCU, SMU, the Stars, the Wings, the Mavericks, and definitely the Rangers. The Cowboys, I love you.
He secretly hates the Cowboys, but the fans are so crazy that he just gets a laugh out of them. So, but he secretly hates the Cowboys. If the Cowboy was to win the Super Bowl, he would lose his freaking mind.
Oh, but it wouldn't be because of them winning it. It would be because of those nauseating, absolutely devoid of intelligence Cowboys fans. But I do love Dallas. And in 14 days, I'm going to be in Dallas. Yeah.
Anyway, what's on tap for today?
All right. On tap for the day, we, ladies and gentlemen, are going to review 2025's and preview 2026 Southeastern Conference. That's right. The SEC is on tap for today's episode. And, we're going to touch on which school do we think this year is going to win it all for the conference? Which school do we think is going to be under the radar and will surprise all of us? And which school is going to be on the hot seat? That is what's on tap for Bearing Down the Gridiron for this episode. And also, the question of the day is on tap for this episode as well. That is, the SEC, out of 25 slots, they have nine, count them, 9 teams in the top 25, the AP preseason poll. Is the conference still the toughest or the standard in all of college football? or is the reputation of the conference carrying more weight than its recent results? Mind you, the SEC out of 25 in the top 25 has 9 teams in the top 25 AP preseason poll.
I think that question leads us to one part of it.
So yes, is the conference still the standard in college football, or has the, I guess you could say, the pedigree, is it outweighing what has put forth recently on the gridiron? Type your answer below in the description box if you're watching the Playmakers Network YouTube channel. And if you haven't done that already, like this video, share this video, and subscribe to the Playmakers Network, where you will see Bearing Down the Gridiron, Monarchs of Wrestling, Ramley Talk, which we will, which he will be talking about all things Los Angeles Rams tomorrow, and Shooting Lights Out. But you're here with Bearing Down the Gridiron. And we thank you.
So the first part of that brings us to this right here.
The No Huddle music, please. Doggone it.
I did that for you so you can wake up.
You wanted to ruin that.
Hey,
I was going to say that. So since we on the question of the day talked about the AP preseason top 25 poll, we will touch on that in the No Huddle, along with a tweak in the Heisman voting. But first, let's touch on who is in the top 25 preseason. Now, there are 9 teams in the SEC that are in the top 25, but 1 and 2 are not represented by the SEC. No. Ohio State's number 1, Oregon's number 2. So the Big Ten are the big boys, as they have been the last 3 years in college football. Oh, programming note. Big Ten, you'll be updated, and you will be reviewed and previewed for next year, next week. This year, next week. Tune to the Bearing Gridiron. Big Ten, next week. But for this week, the Buckeyes received 41st place votes, and 14 more went Oregon's way. And this was compiled by 69 media members who cover college football for the Associated Press and other news organizations. Now, the top SEC team is the one that basically has been ruling the conference for the last 6-7 years. That would be Georgia.
Who's been ruling the country ever since Saban left Alabama?
True. They're ranked 3rd. Then you have Texas, who's ranked 5th. Then you have the triumvirate of Texas A&M, Ole Miss, and Oklahoma to round out the top 10 at 8, 9, and 10, respectively. Now, along with it, you have Notre Dame. Notre Dame is ranked number 4.
They didn't lose much, so I can't argue with it. They ain't lose much. They got basically all their key players back.
It's not that I'm hating on Notre Dame. It's they're putting them high so that they can, so that the college football playoff committee can actually say, well, we gave you every chance possible for you to be in the college football playoff, but you're stinking behind, don't want to go to a conference. And so when you do whack stuff like lose to teams you shouldn't, like Northern Illinois in 2024.
But Cole, you know how this works when they do the preseason. They look at the rosters, they look at the coaching staff, and they rank amongst them. If Notre Dame has all their key players back, where else can you rank them at?
I will say it again.
Now, what happens when the season happens?
Listen, you put them up high, but when you do ridiculous crap like lose at home to Northern Illinois in 2024.
2 years ago, it was a new team. From 2 years ago.
Then you crap the bed the first 2 games of last year. Then you have the faculty, the student body, and the alumni all respectively going, oh, it's unfair. It's all this biased. They don't like Notre Dame. Shut up. That's why I'm hating the fact that Notre Dame is ranked number 4.
But you're saying that, but you're not looking at how they rank these teams. Because if you're saying that, should a certain team be at number 5 then?
I heard that. And I was going to get to that. They deserve to be number 5. That's right. I'm a big Broncos fan. They don't deserve to be ranked 5th.
See, you're not. This is preseason. What they gonna go by?
Oh well, last year they put Texas number 1. They actually thought that was the best
roster,
the best in college football. What eyes were they looking at? I'm looking through.
I mean, that's the same roster as back this year, so.
And that's telling. They thought a roster 1 year worse was better than this one. Because the roster a year ago was ranked 1st in the preseason. This was ranked 5th.
Let me see. Ohio State did outside of Julian Saban. Actually, no, I think Julian Saban came back. Yeah, and you still got the best player in college football at the wide receiver spot. So yeah, I can see them being number 1. Oregon.
I'm not really hating Ohio State being number 1. I'm not.
Oregon. I haven't heard Oregon losing anybody significant. So yeah, I can see that being number 2.
I don't hate them in number 2. The only reason why they failed last year was because their kryptonite was Indiana.
Georgia number 3.
They got with every other team on their schedule except for Indiana.
Georgia number 3. Georgia speaks for itself.
Well, Georgia is the SEC standard. They're the standard bearer.
So guess what? The top 3 is correct, and then you just have to choose which roster you like more. Notre Dame, Texas, Indiana lost a lot of players, but they giving some credence to Kurt Cincinnati here. Say, hey, we know you're the reigning defending champions, but you did lose a lot of talent from that team. So we get to see if you can do what the Ohio States and the Georgias of the world can do. Can you retool and not rebuild?
And then we got the U at 7. And I know they're being punished basically because they lost people like Carson Beck.
And to most people's opinion, probably the worst conference in college football.
Heck, we could ask Cool, he'll say the same thing. And Cool McCain knows. And he's a U fan. He'd be the first to say it's probably the worst of the 4. And know that we ain't talking crap and saying it. But
and then you got your 3 teams that made the college football playoffs last. No, yeah, 3. You got your 3 teams that made the college football playoffs last year. They weren't out of the top 10.
3 of them did. Yes, all 3 of them did. Yes. Yes. So you have the wine drunkard, the head coach of Texas, Steve Sarkisian.
You starting already?
He had this to say about the polls.
Oh, no.
Quote, I love the polls for college football fans, for the excitement, for the marquee matchups, for all those things. But the polls internally, they just don't matter. They're really irrelevant. I think we've gotten to a point now as a team to understand that what matters is how we play each and every Saturday. Close quote.
I can't disagree with what he said.
Steve, this is all I got to say. You play like hot garbage on Saturdays. But I agree with your point.
It's a new year, Cole. Calm down. It's a new year.
It's a new year. It was
It's
a
a
new
new
year. I don't want
season.
to see. It's a new dawn, a new day, and a new life, and it's good. Okay, fine. Well, thank you, Nina Simone.
Man, you can't even. You didn't even wait till we get to the SEC for you to start going off on your team. Jeez.
It pisses me off.
No game have been played yet. Can we play a game first?
It's like, don't stick a mic in that drunkard's face. Tell him to go back to AA.
But you just said you can't disagree with what you said, though.
I don't. I don't disagree with what he said.
All
I just
right,
hate the fact
then.
he had to open it. I just hate the fact he had to open his mouth and say it.
Bruh.
No,
You know how this is. They're gonna interview every freaking coach in the SEC. That's all. No, every coach in the SEC gets interviewed.
Go back to the practice. Go back to the practice field and get your team right.
How does he know his team is right if they haven't played yet?
Oh, I'll put it this way: you'll know when your team is right when you put down the bottle. Put it down, son.
I'll say week 2, but that's another story for another day.
Oh, Lord. So Notre Dame did receive 6 first place votes, which you all need to be, all 6 you need to be smacked. Indiana, the defending national champions, because for some reason that has been lost in shuffle. They received 8, and Miami received 1. Now, this is the first year a conference has held down the top 2 spots in the preseason since the Big 8 was in effect.
A long time ago.
Yes. Oklahoma and Nebraska were there were numbers 1 and 2. And that was 39 years ago. 1987. Now, the last time the Big 10 had 1 and 2, we both were even born. 1961, where Ohio State was number 2 and Iowa was number 1. Yeah.
Damn,
it's been a long time.
Y'all fell way off. God dog.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes. Now, the Big 10, they have won 3 straight college football playoff championships. That would be Michigan in 2023, Ohio State 2024, Indiana 2025. And they will be going for an unprecedented 4th straight national champion in the conference. This is the 4th consecutive year that the Big 10 has had 2 of the top 3 teams in the preseason rankings. Now, we touched on the SEC having 9 in the top 25. This marks the 3rd straight year they have had that many to begin a season. 5 of the top 10 are from the SEC. That has happened for the first time since 2013. Now, you're probably asking yourself, we've heard about the SEC, the Big 10. We even heard from the ACC because that's where, well, you can technically say Notre Dame resides there too, but they reside 1 foot in and 1 foot out in Miami. But we haven't heard about the Big 12. Well, it's because 4 teams are ranked in the Big 12. The conference champion, Texas Tech, they're ranked highest at number 12. And then you have the ACC having 2 other teams in the top 25. SMU is ranked number 19. Louisville is ranked number 24. Now, there's no group of 6 schools in the top 25. Boise State, which they have moved from the Mountain West to now the new Pac-12. That's right. The Pac-2 is no more. The Pac-12 is back.
Unfortunately for Cole Johnson, because he was enjoying the Pac-2 a lot.
I loved it. I loved the Pac-2. But yes, the Pac-12 is back. But when we say it's back, it's lowercase b, lowercase a, lowercase c, lowercase k. Because if I didn't say this to you, would you have known there is a Pac-12 conference?
Nope.
No.
I don't
That
think
should tell you how
I don't
That
think.
should tell you how high the mighty has fallen.
I don't even think majority of people actually care that was the Pac-12 again.
Right.
Just
That should tell you how high the mighty has fallen. Now, Ohio State will become or attempt to become the 12th team to start and finish number 1 in the AP Preseason poll since it debuted in 1950. The last team to successfully do it, you mentioned the head coach of that team,
Alabama.
Back in 2017. Now the Buckeyes ended the season in the AP number 1 6 times. That would be 2000. I mean, that would be 1942, 1954, 1968, 2002, 2014, and 2024. And yeah. And as for Georgia, well, for the 9th straight year, Georgia starts in the top 5. Your thoughts on the top 25 poll?
Well, I think they already got our thoughts because we kept going back and forth with you. I don't think there's anything else for me to add.
Oh my gosh. So you got Indiana. They're the 7th returning national champion in 40 years. And the 2nd in 3 seasons to be ranked outside the top 5. Michigan received that dubious distinction only 2 years prior, being ranked number 9 after winning the national title.
And
Hoosiers,
deservedly so. In some cases, probably overrated at that point.
Yes. The Hoosiers, they became the first team to go 16-0 in the modern era. And they returned lots of talent. Of course, the big talent is not returning because he got drafted in the NFL. That'd be Fernando Mendoza. Well, let me see. Notre Dame, we talked about Notre Dame. Lane Kiffin. His first LSU team, they're ranked 11th after finishing a wonderful, astonishing 7-6. And unranked under Brian Kelly, the fake Southern Baptist preacher, and Frank Wilson mopping up the duty. Much is expected of Baton Rouge as the Tigers haven't gone to the CFP since winning it all way back in 2019 and have lost at least 4 games in 5 of the 6 seasons since.
I'm gonna miss Brian Kelly.
Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna miss Brian Kelly.
Why are you gonna miss him?
I think you know it. That's why you laughing. I'll let you tell them why I'm gonna miss Brian Kelly.
He's gonna miss him because I think he enjoyed the fact that I would poke fun of the fact that this guy tried to sound like a Southern Baptist preacher, but he's from the Midwest. Oh no, he's from the East Coast. I'm sorry. It's hilarious to me. Now, 10 of the 12 CFP teams last season are ranked. Madison and Tulane, of course, are the ones who aren't. And they, of course, belong in the group of 6. The Cougars. No, not BYU. I'm talking about Houston. They have their first preseason ranking in the top 25 in 4 years, and their 3rd since 1991. Congratulations. The program is back. Now, can you maintain being in those lofty standards? Or are you faking the funk? I hope not. Oh, oh yes. All eyes at Austin. They'll be on quarterback Arch Manning and the 5 goofs in front of him. Who the Longhorns hope to make the expected jump from year 1 to year 2 as full-time starter. Now, Manning was the favorite for the Heisman Trophy last year. He's also a favorite to win it this year. He will have to lead a team facing plenty of expectations once again.
With the schedule to boot, too.
Yeah, the schedule's harder this year than last year. Now, is the team better? I doubt it.
That's the question.
Yeah, that's the question. I doubt it.
Can you wait till we talk about the SEC before you show your disdain for your team? Jeez, we still in the no huddle. We didn't even get to the other part. We didn't even get to the second part of the no huddle.
I'm so sorry. I would apologize to you, Texas. I ain't. But I'm so sorry, Playmaker. You're right. I'll reserve the rest of my comments for the University of Texas later in the program. Drunkard. The new team at Heisman has launched Heisman Hopefuls, a data storytelling and fan voting platform aimed at expanding the conversation about the award given to the most outstanding player in college football. Now, the platform will feature official player data and regularly updated EA Sports college football player ratings, and it will allow fans to place the first official vote on the Heisman Trophy. Heisman CEO Jeff Price, he had this to say about this new development. Quote, we surveyed college football fans, and they told us clearly that they want more data on more players and more ways to engage with the Heisman Trophy throughout the season. Close quote. So they can properly bet on a game. Sorry. I'm so sorry. Professionalism, Cole. Woosah. Central to the new initiative is a Heisman Hopefuls website, complete with player data and a voting page. Now, while some positions will be available, we'll always have a richer database, and the efforts for this season at least will be limited to more basic player statistics instead of advanced analytics. The combination of statistics and player ratings is intended to encourage voters to consider players of all positions. Price went on to say the following, quote, every player who steps on the field this fall begins the season as a Heisman hopeful, with the chance to earn the award on the field of play. This platform, working hand in hand with the schools, helps us shine a light on those players and bring their stories forward all season long. Close quote. Well, you just opened up your butt and you just had the NCAA just reach in your anus and made you a human puppet. Texas Tech linebacker Jacob Rodriguez won last year's fan favorite, with Nebraska's Emmett Johnson finishing second, and Indiana's Fernando Mendoza, who won the award, won the Heisman Trophy last year. He finished third. This time around, voters can vote daily, with the weights of the votes shifting throughout the season. I'm sorry. Your thoughts on the Heisman hopefuls?
So, as a host, you have to know when it's time for you to speak, and you have to know when you shouldn't speak. I displayed that on Monday, so I think I'm gonna display that again, because if I know my co-host, he's gonna say the one word that consists of 3 letters that I'm thinking of, and usually when he does that, he goes in and does his thing. So I'm gonna go ahead and let my co-host do that for me.
Oh Lord.
Because I think me and you got the same question in our head right now.
Probably not, but yeah, I might. Mr. Price, it's wonderful that you're saying that you want to invite the fans to have a more all-inclusive impact on the Heisman Trophy and the Heisman Trophy candidates. I think it's wonderful.
But why?
Yes. Well, I have some thoughts as to why. Is it because you are getting handed money hand over fist under the table by the NCAA? Is it you feel as though you have a duty to represent the Heisman hopefuls and make your platform higher than it has ever been? Or is it the fact that you decided to show the world that you, sir, love anal play? Because I'll be doggone if you're not a human puppet and the NCAA is your ventriloquist. Come on, son. Really?
So let me get this right. Mr. Johnson. Do fans vote for the MVP of the National Football League?
Yeah, no.
Do fans vote for the most valuable player in the National Basketball Association?
Yes, no, they don't.
Do fans vote for the Cy Young Awards in Major League Baseball?
Oh, it's wonderful. It's a great platform. They do. No, they don't.
Do fans vote for the John Wooden Award in college basketball?
Man, I love John Wooden. And the fans love John Wooden too, but no, they don't.
So why is the fans getting to vote for the Heisman?
That's a real good question.
The Heisman. You don't like fans vote for the most prestigious award in your sport. You know why? Because it becomes a popularity contest. You don't need a popularity contest for the most prestigious award in sports. That's why they do it for the All-Star stuff. Because guess what? All-Star is just a popularity contest where nobody has to really do anything.
When you said that sometimes a host has to learn to speak and when to basically be quiet, I had to be quiet. Chef's kiss. Leave the fan vote into All-Star games, not to end of season awards. I mean, people are complaining it's a popularity contest with the Heisman Trophy and MVPs anyway. Maybe it's because you're sick of fans saying, well, why does it have to be a quarterback every year or a running back every year? Because if it were me, I'd vote for other players. And then you'll suss them out and you'll find out that they'll vote for the QBs and running backs too.
You know why? Because guess what? QB is the most important position on the field. Mm-hmm. And these guys are throwing 4,000, 5,000 yards a year with about 40 touchdowns to 6 interceptions. And your team is undefeated.
So if you were doing this to curb the possible complaint that you only award the Heisman Trophy to quarterbacks and mix in a running back every now and then throw a defensive player a bone probably once every 20 years,
or a receiver,
it's going to be
or a receiver,
or a receiver. Yes, or a receiver. This is not the way to do it. It's going to be even worse because fans are invited. But I guess the NCAA is really giving you a whole lot of money to be their puppet.
Jerk off.
Just what I need. Fans voting for the Heisman Trophy winner.
Commercial break. Then when we come back, the toughest conference in college football. We'll see on the other side of this. Sometimes it's not even about the jerseys. It's the hat that sets it off. Snapbacks, Speedies, truckers, whatever your style is, that's how you rep your team every day. If you're looking to upgrade your collection or find your next go-to cap, we got you covered. Hit the link in the description and shop the latest styles right now through Lids. Every team, every style, every day. Top off your fit the right way.
Join Ryan McCarthy.
I became a Jets fan because Kurt the Frog was my favorite Muppet because he was green, and the Jets wore green. That's how I became a Jets fan.
And Dustin Henry.
ESPN is cashing all in on let's pay a few personalities and we'll just kind of fill in the gaps.
As they walk you through all of the world of sports from their perspective.
The Albany Empire, it's a literal circus.
No credentials required. Where, Ryan, say the tag.
Where you don't need a press pass to talk sports.
Every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. On YouTube and where you can find all podcasts.
Your best work starts with the right environment. Whether you're working from home, managing a business, creating content, studying for class, or gaming with friends, the right setup can make all the difference. From premium office chairs to modern desks and workspace essentials, Odin Lake helps you create a setup that works as hard as you do. Work smarter, stay comfortable, perform at your best. Discover Odin Lake today through the Playmaker Network. And welcome back to Bearing Down the Gridiron here as continue our conference previews and
the dreams are your.
Before you start singing, can you take care of that for me?
Well, you see the digit that's on Playmaker's head. You can get that one and many more at Lids. And if you do purchase from Lids, it is free shipping on all orders in the U.S. over $34. Go to Lids and use the promo code LIDS34 and use that promo code with all caps LIDS24 Lids34, and you will get free shipping on all orders in the U.S. over $34. Lids look like Playmaker with that digit on his head. Go to Lids.
Why you late?
What's that?
When have you not seen me wear a hat?
I know. I'm just saying that particular one.
It fits the occasion.
I know it fits the occasion. Welcome back. Your dreams are your ticket, Al. Welcome back to that same old place that you laughed about. When the names have all changed since they come around, but those dreams have remained when you turn around. Well, when it's come to college football, pretty much people have been saying that same refrain about the conference that we're going to uncover, study, and analyze to pieces in this upcoming episode, the Southeastern Conference, or the SEC. It has been almost a welcome back scenario to which one is going to rule the roost to be the national champion or close to the national championship. But that has changed in the last 3 years. Now,
Viewers'
will those
discretion,
forces change?
Viewers' discretion be advised. This segment might be personal.
No, it won't ever be personal.
Viewer discretion is advised.
Now, for those who have not followed Bearing Down the Gridiron, you have one guy who backs the University of Florida. You have one guy who backs University of Texas, and obviously both those schools belong in the SEC. Now, what happened last year? Well, last year you see the team that has ruled the Southeastern Conference, that would be Georgia. And they saw that they were having the kryptonite issue with Alabama, and they turned the tide, pun intended,
literally
on them. Basically, to be playing the best game of the season and winning their second straight SEC championship. And that actually gives them 16 for their school. So the Dogs, they are on the SEC throne. But the problem with them has been it's not the SEC, it's the national championship as of late that has eluded them. We'll touch on that in a little bit. Then you have Ole Miss, and they made some really good history, along with controversy that we will touch on later. They actually made their deepest run of any SEC school last year, making it to the national semifinal. We'll touch on that a little bit later. Now, you have teams like Oklahoma. You have teams like A&M, Texas A&M, that is. They were rolling tough, going into Austin. And all they had to do was beat the Longhorns, and they would have been getting their butts whooped against Georgia. Because no one was going to touch Georgia in the SEC championship game last year. However, they decided to lose in Austin, and then they got a wonderful present courtesy of Miami. We'll touch on that in a minute as well. Then there was, to me, the biggest surprise in college football. That would be Vanderbilt. They posted their first 10-win season in the program's history, and this program has been in existence at least a century. 2025 was the first time that they won 10 games in a college football season.
The doctors, lawyers, and engineers
Finally got off there and showed that they actually could be athletes. And not just in others, in areas, not just in baseball. You do good in basketball every now and then. But basically, you all rule baseball.
Yeah, they did good last year, too.
You ain't do jack in football until last year. Or I should say, yeah, you didn't do jack till last year. And the last time you all did something, Jay Cutler was your quarterback, but I digress. There were 5 SEC teams that were in the college football playoff. I'm trying to think of the number that actually was in the title game. Let me see, it was Indiana and Miami. Yeah, that number is 0. No SEC teams made it all the way there. You had Oklahoma. They took it on the chin to Alabama in Norman. You had Texas A&M, who took it on the chin to Miami in College Station. Yeah, Alabama, who they really didn't make the plane and fly to Pasadena to get trounced by the eventual national champions in Indiana in the Rose Bowl. You had Ole Miss, who they were the most impressive, and man, did they give the U a battle and a half. But they just didn't make the one play they needed to overcome them in the national semifinals. And then you have Georgia, who
for the second year in a row,
lost to the quarterfinals, and they had a really good tussle with Ole Miss. That was a really good game. Unfortunately, Georgia couldn't hold a lead, and that was the issue in that game. So the playoffs resulted this way. So you had Alabama beating Oklahoma in the first round, 34-24. You had the U in a very hard defensive matchup go to College Station and smack the Aggies out of the playoffs 10-3 with a crappy throw in the end zone. Never mind. And then you had Ole Miss, of course, with easily the most impressive effort in the first round, with a 31-point victory, 41-10 over Tulane. And that's possibly one of the two games that doomed the group of 5, now the group of 6. They didn't get to the quarterfinals. We already touched on the Ole Miss Georgia game.
You touched on Alabama getting, you know what, by Indiana.
Oh my gosh. Alabama got beat down in Pasadena, 38-3. And in the semifinals, Ole Miss, they repped. They did as much as they could, and they hung with a tough, hungry Miami team. They just did not have enough in the end. 31-27. To me, that was the best game in the playoffs, that one.
And for the 3rd year in a row, no SEC team made a national championship appearance.
And also in that 3-year stretch, every champion emanated from the Big Ten. Coincidence? Now, here are the major storylines in the SEC. Now, who gonna get control of the NCAA? The SEC or the NCAA? Neither one. Because both y'all don't got the balls. So you got the commissioner of SEC, Greg Sankey. He's continuing to push for governance and governing reform. Well, sir, you can't go any further than Washington for governmental reform. And the future of the SEC, well, it may rest with how they do get down with the NCAA and the future relationship with the NCAA. That still remains one of the biggest off-field stories.
Can I cut you off?
What?
Greg Sankey, I need you to do me one favor. And one favor only.
Shut up.
Shut the hell up. This one, you were having this conversation when the SEC was dumbing in the 14 playoff. You get to 12, you lost 3 straight, and all of a sudden you're talking about breaking away. Shut up. Nobody want to hear that. Adapt and take back control from the Big Ten.
Adapt? You're asking the conference to actually be accountable for not being the big dogs of the college football landscape.
But
how dare you, Playmaker?
Michigan. What did they do to Alabama?
Beat them down.
Ohio State. What did they do to any SEC team that they saw the last 2 years?
Punked them.
And then what did Indiana just? And then what did Indiana do to Alabama? We just finished talking about what Indiana did to Alabama, right?
Mm-hmm. You talked about redheaded steel children in Shooting Lights Out. Indiana treated Alabama like a redheaded stepchild.
If you must be reminded, Greg Sankey, even though the Big Ten won 3 straight national championships, and no SEC team made it to the national championship game, there was an SEC team standing in the way of all 3 of them teams. And what was the result of all 3 of them games? I might be an SEC homer, but let's call a spade a spade. Shut your ass up and adapt and get with the program. I'm sorry, Mr. Johnson. You can go ahead.
I'm S. Cole Johnson, and I approve all of that message. Yes, sir. You dropped that mic mighty well, sir. Yes. Sankey, shut that mouth, son. I agree with him. So you have now the SEC, they're scheduling 9 conference games. And they're hoping that it carries more weight with these games. Tougher schedules will now impact the SEC championship race and the college football playoff resumes. Now, it is now broken down as such. They have 3, each SEC school has 3 annual opponents that they will play every year. They will have 6 opponents that will rotate on an annual basis. And for the first time since, if I'm not mistaken, since 1992, is it? No divisions. That's right. There's no SEC East, no SEC West.
That I love.
Yeah.
Top 2 teams go at it in Atlanta for the title. That I love.
Yeah. No SEC East, no SEC West. No divisions. It's all one conference table. Now, we have new coaches on the sideline and old as well. Let's start with Auburn with Alice Golesh. Then we'll go to Arkansas with Ryan Silverfield. We will then go to Kentucky with Will Stein. We will then go to the Swamp with John Sumrall. And I miss the smiling jackass, Billy Napier.
I don't.
You just won too few games, son. And we'll go to Oxford and Ole Miss with Pete Golding. Nearly 1/3 of the conference begins a new era this year.
But
now you're probably saying,
but major.
I know. I was going to say, but you're saying, wait a minute. All these coaching changes, but you left out one. No, we didn't. Because the most major of the changes happened in Baton Rouge. Since Pete Golding is now in Ole Miss, that means Lane Kiffin is not. Because he got slid a contract where he got his house paid for and would have won $1 million just because he signed on the dotted line if Ole Miss actually won a national championship. Got $1 million house, and they said, we'll pay off your house in Oxford. Slide that contract. Lane Kiffin, he now begins his era in LSU. It is one of the biggest coaching moves, not just in the SEC, but in the whole country. Now, because of Lane Kiffin trading in the stars and bars for the purple and the gold or mustard, can LSU become an immediate SEC and college football playoff contender under Kiffin? Or will they finish 7-6 like they did last year?
All right, sir. I'm gonna let you choose. You want to go 1-2 or you want to go 2-1?
I'll go 2-1. I don't want to disrespect Georgia. But I definitely want to disrespect the Longhorns. Arch Manning, he now is the second-year quarterback starter. And this is the third year that Texas is in the SEC. The first year was pretty good because they went all the way to the national semifinal. Last year it sucked because they didn't even make it there.
And they didn't make the SEC championship appearance either.
Why?
Year 1, they made it, just got beat by Georgia. Year 2, they didn't make it.
They lost to Ohio State. They lost to Georgia.
It's not my fault.
And they decided to act as though Florida was a JUCO school and got their butts whooped.
It's not my fault.
Sarkeesian,
I could have had that clip ready, but I forgot about it.
Sarkeesian, you better not have this crap ever happen again.
I mean, by the dude by the name of Dallas.
See, now you're starting to piss me off. Dallas.
But you
Not
love
the
Dallas,
city.
right?
That's what I said. Dallas. But not the city. I love
Yeah.
Dallas.
If y'all could, y'all might have. I forget. I think it's week. I forgot what week it was, but that's by the name of Dallas Wilson, and it was his first college game too.
And he beat the Longhorns secondary like they owed him money. Oh, gosh. Now, Arch Manning is one of the high-profile college football players. And the expectations, they were high last year. They're even higher this year. Now that he has a full year as a starter under his belt. And I said it before, I'll say it again. Will he and the 5 goofs in front of him actually keep him upright long enough to where we actually can talk about Texas earning their way to possibly an SEC championship and a college football playoff berth?
Please do, because
Or
I
will-
don't need Coach Johnson singing like he did last year.
Or will Steve Sarkisian wrap his hand around the neck of a bottle and toss it down? You better do a good job, Sarkisian. Otherwise, I want you to get out of Austin, you and your wife, and have wonderful trysts away from the college campus. But yes, the spotlight is very intense in Austin, with Arch Manning probably receiving the biggest of attention, quite frankly, in all of the SEC. Now, I think there isn't another player that is coming into the preseason focused on higher and hopeful of success than him. But to me, none of those are the biggest of storylines. The biggest one in the SEC is the back-to-back conference champion, Georgia. Now, they have gotten accustomed to reloading, and they do quite a wonderful job at reloading. Now, they overcame one issue, which was their annual hiccup against Alabama. Now, can they finally convert the conference dominance they have experienced over the last few years and actually get to a place they haven't visited in about 3 or 4, and that's the national championship?
Look at this. This is why it's called the toughest conference. Look at all these storylines in one conference. One conference.
Yeah. It's why it is the conference that you just like, wow. All eyes are on them like Tupac. So you got the teams. Well, let me go. Let me go here. So yes, you have 16 teams in the SEC. You have 5 new head coaches, and of course the champion, which has been Georgia the last 2 years. Now, we talked about the 9 conference games that the SEC is now going to be going under starting this year, with the 3 annual opponents and the 6 rotating ones, and the no divisions. And we talked about the 5 teams that were in the CFP last year, with none of them even sniffing the national title game. But here's something that I think has been the envy of the SEC, but now it looks like people are catching up to them. Every Southeastern Conference game televised, distributed, and rubber stamped by ESPN or ABC too. That is why we have the landscape of college football the way we have now, because the other big boy conferences, they wanted to have this type of high profile connection between their conference and some major media arm.
Oh, the Big Ten is fine. They got CBS and NBC. They're fine.
No, I that's what I'm saying.
By the way, NBC has like the best opening intro for just about every sport right about now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The SEC had this type of setup before you had the Big Ten crying and complaining, and the ACC crying and complaining, the Big Ten crying and Big 12 crying and complaining, and now you have the Big Ten being buddied up with NBC and CBS, and look at them now. Look at them now. Now they're the 3-time national champion with 3 different schools doing it too. So it's not Notre Dame winning all 3 or winning 2 and Ohio State winning 1, Ohio State winning 2 and Michigan winning 1. No. You had Michigan win 1, Ohio State win 1, you had Indiana win 1. So it looks like the wealth is being spread up top too. So Sankey, understand, son, the rest of the big boys are caught up to you. And the Big Ten surpassed you. That is not sexy enough. Now, who are the teams under pressure? Now, you got Arkansas, who we talked about, their new head coach, Ryan Silverfield. They must find consistency in a tough schedule they have, which I know 2 of those games, if I'm not mistaken, is Texas A&M and Texas. They're 2 of their 3 annual conference games. That right there is tough for them. Then you have Will Stein being a new head coach at Kentucky. Now, there have been whispers of this school taking the next step, putting fear in the hearts of schools like Georgia, like Alabama, like Tennessee. But let's be honest, they have come up woefully short. But now can they take the next step and actually be a true contender in the conference that basically just looks at them as nothing more than the reason that we follow college basketball for the SEC? Because we don't give a crap about them in college football. Then there's Auburn. Alex Golesh, he is the new head coach there. A once proud program. They're coming off of back-to-back losing seasons, and they got to show that they are going forward and not backward. And they have the unenviable task of having to not show that they're going backwards, because to the west, to the immediate west, they got Alabama. To the immediate east, they got Georgia. And they are right in between. And that is their biggest measuring sticks. And 2 of their 3 annual conference games they play. So they have an immediate measuring stick with them. And then there is Florida. John Sommer, we talked about him being the new head coach of Florida. The program, they do need stability and results. And I will add this. They need, and I'm saying this to the alumni and the student body, you all need to not act as though Steve Spurrier is about to come back on the sideline. Those days have come and gone. The days of your old football coach, he could do speeches, but he's not going to coach Florida. Wonderful school, wonderful area, and wonderful fan base. Look, one of my closest friends is a Florida fan, so I can't talk crap about them if I tried. But you're suffering a little bit from the Cowboys disease, where you think being in or near college football's pantheon is your birthright. No, it ain't. Get from under the deck and show that you're supposed to be one of those schools where you draw in the best players from Florida. Because unfortunately, it looks like Miami and Florida State are starting to lap the field with you. Your thoughts, sir?
You know my philosophy when it comes to new coaches.
Yeah, give them 3 years.
I'm sticking with it. Year one, John Summerall, I just want to see what you got. Is it? I ain't putting no win total on it. I'm not putting no expectation. I just want to year one, show me what you got. And then we can go after that. I wish my other Florida Gator fans would do the same thing, but as Mr. Johnson said eloquently, we like to think things should be a certain way, no matter who's at the helm. Guess what? That's not the case. Let John Summerall take in year one, and then we can go from there. No expectations. No, he better do this. Shut up and take year one as it goes. When we get to 2027, then we can say, all right, Mr. Summerall, this is what you did year one. We want to see you approve in year two. That's all.
Well stated. Well stated. I agree with you. To the dark horses. Now, we touched on Vanderbilt. They've won 10 games for the first time in a college football season in their history.
However,
That is crazy to think. There's 2025 from to win 10 games in the season. Now, can they actually build on what Diego Pavia left them, because he no longer is under center? So that's going to be the major question.
He too busy getting kicked out of training camps for NFL teams.
Yeah. So you have that as an issue. But congratulations on 10 wins in a college football season. And in that season, showing that you all could battle. You're going to need all of that and then some this year, because all eyes are on you. You sneak it up on nobody this year, partner. You sneak it up on nobody.
Nobody.
So if you all plan on tearing down the goalpost and walking down West End to Broadway and dumping the contents of the goalpost in the Cumberland River this year, then you better build on this 10-win season and act as though you all belong with the contenders and not the pretenders.
Well, at least you're not there to sign the seat. At least you're not there to sign the seat in person.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, that was a mob and a half. That was hilarious to see it, though.
He had a live look at it too.
Mm-hmm. South Carolina with Lenoris Sellers. He returns. That will help the cause for the Gamecocks. In the media poll, though, they have them 11th in the conference. Even though they have upside, that's pretty strong. Goodness gracious. 11th.
That means y'all better than 5 teams.
You said it, not I.
I think 3 of those teams might be in a column together.
Yeah, I was about to say. Then you have Missouri. They quietly were supposed to be a team that was to threaten last year, but they tailed off toward the end. They do have playmakers on the squad. Now, we said that South Carolina was 10th in the SEC media poll. 11th. Missouri is 10th. However, that team is poised to do some good things and jump. So we shall see what happens in Columbia, if they actually can compete with the big dogs. And then you have Tennessee. Now, Mr. Heupel, don't get the yips like you did at home against Georgia last year, because you were great in the first half, You were hot garbage for most of the second half.
Garbage.
And then you barely showed up when you all went to Tuscaloosa, but that's a different story. You got a new defensive coordinator. They needed it because they couldn't stop a cold last year, much less an opposing SEC offense. And yes, there are new expectations. I'll put it to you this way. Since I lived 2.5 hours away, you had a lot of Tennessee fans hoping to be competitive. They were hoping that they could hang with Georgia, hoping they could hang with Alabama, hoping they could hang with LSU, hoping they can hang with the best teams possible. Of course, they rooted to beat Florida, obviously, but they were hoping to hang against those teams. They did not feel that they had what it took to beat them. Hence why back in, I think it was 2022, you actually saw Rocky Top go absolutely catatonic when they upset Alabama, because they just didn't expect that to happen. Well, the expectations are you're not meant to hang with them. Now you are built to beat them. And if you do lose, you're not going to get the, oh, that was a great try, let's do it next year type of effort. You're going to probably get even more derision from crossing your fingers and hoping you don't blow a game like you did, like you came close to doing when you hosted Florida last year.
Y'all got lucky. Oh, y'all got lucky.
Because actually, you should have lost that game, Florida.
And you didn't, and you didn't get lucky against Georgia.
Yeah, you got caught. Got caught flat-footed. Caught flat-footed. You had a lead. You thought, oh, we're good. And you forgot that team on the other side is too talented to just simply think they can just roll over and play dead.
You got one of your rivals, but you didn't get the other one.
Yeah. So those new expectations should be, you should bury Florida. Even though you're going to the swamp this year, you should bury them. Because you are supposedly more talented than they are. Those are what new expectations are supposed to be. You're supposed to bury teams like Florida. And you're supposed to get a win against an Alabama, against a Georgia. But we'll see if you cross your fingers and hoping you can get a win against your arch rival that you skate out of it with your chinny chin chin. Or if you're like, yeah, we belong here and this other team doesn't. That is a new expectation that has to take place on the field at Rocky Top. Then you have the college football playoff contenders. I'll go with Ole Miss. So they were the semifinalists in 2025. They were the team that went furthest in the college football playoff last year in the SEC. And they came very close to beating Miami to actually have a berth in a national championship game. They just came up one play short. Now, what is good for Ole Miss is that they got a lot of playmakers returning on offense and defense. So the possibility for them to challenge for the SEC crown is mighty strong and unswept.
Trinidad Chambliss is back.
And the most important of those players, Trinidad Chambliss, who we got a chance to see him do his thing both in the game against Georgia and the game against Miami. Now we got to see if, and I do mean if, Ole Miss can actually say, yep, we belong here. Bump Alabama, bump Georgia, bump Tennessee, bump LSU, bump Texas. We are the big boys in the SEC. That is what you need to do now, Ole Miss. Let's see it.
Your favorite team, Mr. Johnson.
This is what I find funny about Texas A&M. They were one win away from a SEC championship trip last year. And they got talent loaded all over the place. Because they were young and yeah. They are loaded all over the place. They were young with talent. So they returned most of their big time players on both sides of the ball too. But the problem was the moment got too big for them. With the Austin took an L and then hosted Miami, and they hung with them defensively. They couldn't hang with them offensively. And it was to the point where the last drive of the game broke them. Miami scored on them, and A&M couldn't respond. The question with A&M is, can they be where Georgia is? Because that's where they want to be. Can you be the SEC champion? Can you beat the likes of Alabama, the likes of Oklahoma, the likes of Georgia, the likes of Texas? And you will definitely face Texas because that'll be your last game this year in College Station. So that is the benchmark for A&M.
And then you can skip the next team because the other two, I got something to say for them when we get to them show. But you can skip that next team though.
Skip LSU?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So then we have Alabama. Now, they got to the Rose Bowl. And that's it. They got to the Rose Bowl. Because they sure didn't play it. And the problem with them is they got to improve the balance on both sides of the ball. This is the one thing that with a coach, Nick Saban team, you didn't have a problem with. You're starting to see it a little bit under Nick DeBoer. Can they reload? And I think I believe that's the number one question for Alabama. Can they reload, or are they now back in a position where they're chasing instead of setting the pace? Because for a long time, they were the benchmark of the SEC until Kirby Smart decided to become the Georgia head coach, and then the tide started to shift and turn there. Now they have to now see if they're not the lead dog. They might be in the pack.
Now, Mr. Johnson, I know you see a logo coming up. I need you to stay professional.
Okay. And then there is Oklahoma. Now, they surprisingly, and I'm not saying this out of spite, nor shade, nor pettiness. Show of hands. Who thought Oklahoma was going to finish third in the SEC last year? Nobody. Exactly. So they finished third last year in the SEC. They were in the college football playoff in 2025. Unfortunately, they took it on the chin to Alabama after they decided they had it good with a 10-0 lead early in the second quarter. And then they went the rest of the way. Now, Brent Venables, he wants to see consistency on both sides of the ball. I think the issue for him has to be, can they get enough contribution on offense to where the defense doesn't feel as though they need to carry all of the weight to make sure they get the dubs in Norman? That is going to be the number one issue for Oklahoma. The defense does not need to carry as much weight. The offense has to carry more. And when the defense had to carry the weight, we saw in the big time games what happened to them. Against Texas, they couldn't do jack on offense. And against Alabama, they did well in the regular season against them, but in the playoffs, the offense went to sleep and the defense went to sleep at the same time. So can Oklahoma's offense rise up and take the pressure off of the defense? Now, Obviously, the focus is going to be on defense because that's what Venables is bred. That's what Venables bread and is buttered on the defensive side of the ball. Offensively, can they rise to the challenge?
Which leaves LSU. I'll make this very simple and quick for you, Cole Johnson. This is all about Lane Kiffin. Well, of course, we know LSU got time, they got resources, but guess what? You know my philosophy with coaches. That doesn't work with Lane Kiffin. So why does your philosophy doesn't work with Lane Kiffin, Playmaker? Well, because what school did he choose to leave?
He chose to leave Ole Miss.
What did Ole Miss do?
Ole Miss went all the way to the national semifinals.
So Lane Kiffin, if you don't make the college football playoffs, guess what the headline's going to be? See, I can't do my coaching philosophy with you, Lane Kiffin, because you left the school that you helped get to the national semifinals.
And you was going to get $1 million if they won it.
So if you can't take LSU, who a lot of people, if not everybody, maybe outside of Oxford, will say LSU has a better talent pool than Ole Miss, in which you're built to be that type of school. If you can't get them to the playoffs, we have a problem. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be a firing problem, but we have a problem. I'm not like most idiots and jackasses out here. They want to fire you as soon as the first sign of bad trouble. They want to fire you out the gate. But Lane Kiffin, if you can't get the LSU Tigers into contention for the Southeastern Conference in the college football playoffs, there's a problem that's going to be had with the media. Don't ask me. You don't trust me? I have a guy who works in the industry, Mr. Johnson.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're going to be hearing a lot of people talking a lot of junk. If this goes left fast, oh yeah. But you'll be seeing it on the campus. They'll be calling for your head if this goes south fast.
You chose this. It wasn't like, but I'm going through with the Gainesville. We fired the jackass. We brought in John Summerall. So John Summerall, he gets my coaching philosophy. Year one, just see what it is. Because we chose to bring you in. You chose to leave Ole Miss for LSU. In other words, how what's the saying? Lane Kiffin left for greener passage.
Yeah, left for greener pastures. Yes.
So guess what? You better make the playoffs. I'm not saying you got to win round one. I'm just saying your name better be in that 12 team bracket.
Well, I mean,
if not,
that's why they brought him there. Was to actually bring them to that glory that Nick Saban once did, and Les Miles once did, and Ed Orgeron once did. Three coaches within the past 25 years that's actually won national championships as head coaches of LSU. So let's see what you can do, sir.
Which brings us to the championship favorites.
Now, the two teams that we have as championship favorites, they faced off in the 2024 SEC championship game. And actually, it was a pretty good one. It actually was a pretty good game. Went overtime and Georgia beat them. Beat Texas.
Not from one person's standpoint.
Now, did I like the result? No. Did I expect the result? Yes. I expected it because Georgia was the better team. and I still think Georgia's a better team here. But let's touch on U of Texas. This is the third year they're in the SEC. In the first 2 years, the first year was really good. National semifinal went just like Ole Miss last year. They went the furthest any SEC school did in 2024. You got Arch Manning. He now has 1 full year of being a starting quarterback under his belt, and now he gets to lead a talented roster in year number 2 of his starting post.
He did come on down the stretch.
He looked better after the Mississippi State game. No, I take that back. Yeah, because I don't think he played that game. At the Mississippi State game, yeah, he settled down. He played well. The only hiccup he had was, of course, between the hedges. But outside of that, yeah, he looked really good. Looked really good. Now, if he can look the way he did in the Cheez-It Bowl.
Oh, he actually caught the name right. He actually caught the bowl name right.
Whack bowls. And a game that don't matter. Then I think Texas actually could.
At least you beat a Big Ten school.
Yeah, we did one of the things that seemingly most of the SEC schools have a problem doing. They beat a Big Ten school. But yeah, if we could see that Arch Manning this year throughout the whole year, I like Texas's chances to be the SEC champion. I do. And I actually like them to go far into the college football playoff if that is the Arch Manning we're going to see. But it's depending on the 5 goose that's blocking in front of them.
And that other team that's in that slot.
Yes. Now, they were voted number 2 in the SEC media poll, but they were voted number 2 to the champs of the conference, to the perennial champs of the conference. That would be Georgia. They won the SEC championship in 2024. They won it in 2025. They are on par to win it again in 2026 to go back to back to back. Last year, they spanked Alabama to the title, 28-7. They got all the way to the quarterfinals where they lost in a monumental game against Ole Miss. And I think this was probably Ole Miss's coming out party in we actually might be able to do some things in the SEC.
I give you that, but this must be said. This might. I have to say this. 2 years, 2 first-round buys, 2 L's.
True. Because the year before, they lost in the Sugar Bowl to Notre Dame. Yeah, good point. So Georgia, yes, they're chasing their 3rd straight SEC championship. But let's be real. You know this, Playmaker. They ain't focused on the SEC championship. They want that horrible gold and silver cylinder. They want that trophy. They want the national championship this year is in Tampa, right?
That's a good question.
Is it Tampa or in Atlanta this year?
Might be Atlanta.
See, Georgia, they want...
Nope, Las Vegas.
Oh, it's in Vegas.
Vegas.
See, Georgia, thank you, sir. See, Georgia, they want that trophy. They want to go to Vegas and lift that horrendous-looking championship. They want to be the big dog in all of college football, not just in the SEC. And I mean, both these schools, they are in the preseason ranked in the top 5. So we shall see if these two will hold up the standard in the SEC come 2026.
Your best work starts with the right environment. Whether you're working from home, managing a business, creating content, study for class, or gaming with friends, the right setup can make all the difference. From premium office chairs to modern desks and workspace essentials, Odin Lake helps you create a setup that works as hard as you do. Work smarter, stay comfortable, perform at your best. Discover Odin Lake today through the Playmaker Network.
Everything Boston. I love you morons. New Kids on the Block, New Edition.
Dear whatever the law firm is. Sincerely, the U.S. Supreme Court.
Ben Affleck, Matt Damon. Go yourself again, Jason Whitlock.
No matter what you are watching, one thing stays the same. You gotta represent your team the right way. Whether it's jerseys, hats, or hoodies, what you wear is part of the experience. If you're looking to upgrade your gear or getting ready for the next game, we got you covered. Hit the link in the description and shop officials licensed gear through Fanatics. Every team, every league, every fan. Don't just watch the game, represent it.
Hey, Eagles fan. Join my man Cool McCain and a host of others as they break down every single game, every single week in an objective manner, and also from a fan's perspective as well. Remember, this cast feels just like you. Nobody likes you. And you don't care. Fly, Eagles, fly. Eagles Elite Podcast, every Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern on YouTube and other podcast outlets.
Fanatics, they have a back-to-school deal. You shop there, and you will get 25% off of all kids' gear and Champion. Fanatics, back-to-school deal right now. They are where fans can fan, and they're a proud affiliate of Bearing Down the Gridiron.
All right, we went through the storylines, the recap, and outlook of the Southeastern Conference. Mr. Johnson, we have the games to look forward to.
Yes, we do, and I think even though the Big Ten is the conference that people are focused on in terms of being the top dogs, I still think the biggest viewership still comes from the SEC games. Marquee matchups, we will start September 5th. And for those who want to know when that is on a Saturday. Clemson, LSU, in Baton Rouge's Death Valley. And of course, this will be Lane Kiffin's first game as the LSU head coach. And Clemson has to get vengeance on that putrid performance last year in their Death Valley. Then September 6th, you have Louisville going up against Ole Miss. This game is on a neutral site in Nashville. And you'll have a good representation on both schools actually being there. Because it's almost equidistant. I think Louisville's just a little closer than Oxford.
September 12th, Oh my
Then
goodness.
you have September 12th. They must have been looking at, oh, the NFL Sunday schedule kicks off the next day. Let's give them something to look at on Saturday. Oklahoma traveling to the Big House, playing against Michigan. Arizona State will be going to Kyle Field to go up against Texas A&M. And then you have the big early test for both Ohio State and Texas. The two will square off, but this time it is not in the Horseshoe. It is in Austin.
And it's not the first game of the season either.
And it's not the first game of either one of their seasons. So, yeah, there's that. Then the following Saturday, Florida State, Alabama, Tuscaloosa. Now, why is this circled? If you remember, Alabama went to Florida State and they got trounced 31-17, and Alabama gave up over 300 yards of offense on the ground. That's why this is scheduled.
And both schools went in opposite directions from the result.
Both schools went in opposite directions after that game. But yes, this
Which
is why
is
it's
ironic.
circled. Yeah, this is why it's circled. Will Florida State actually regain their dominance of the past? And can they do a repeat from last year? Or will Alabama in Tuscaloosa gain a sweet amount of revenge against the Seminoles? Those are your marquee matchups. The Power Four showdown, I'm sorry. Now, we talked about Clemson and LSU. That's one game on Saturday, September the 5th. How about the other game on September 5th that we'll probably be looking at that has an SEC flavor to it? Baylor will be going up against Auburn. You might as well say traveling to Auburn because Atlanta is maybe 100 miles east of Auburn.
I still don't like that. That game should be at Jordan Hare in Alabama.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that. I get that. There's we can make big money out of this being a neutral site game. No, that game should be.
Here's the problem: y'all played at Waco last year,
right?
Which is the home of Baylor. It's only right that you play at the home of Auburn. Now, if you already played last year in, let's say, in Arlington, Texas,
that's pretty much where they would play it. Yeah.
And then y'all did this Atlanta, I wouldn't have no problem with it. Neutral site there, neutral site here. That's not what you did.
Yeah, I wouldn't have a problem with it either. But I'm with you. I have a huge problem with the fact this game is in Atlanta and not in Auburn. However, that's what they scheduled. Then you have a rivalry game that has been how can I put it? On the low.
You have a rivalry game on a very important day.
Yes. But it's a rivalry game on the low because a lot of people don't know the the history between Missouri and Kansas. So yes, you'll have Missouri going into Lawrence to play Kansas. As Playmaker noted, it'll be on Friday. Yes, I know that's not the important day. The important day is September the 11th. And not just any. This will be the 25th anniversary of September 11th. So you have those two squaring off in an important day or night in this case in Lawrence, Kansas. On September 12th.
That slate there. Good gracious.
And then on September 12th, we talked about 3 marquee matchups on that day. How about 3 Power Four showdowns on that day? Mississippi State, they'll take all their cowbells and maybe the cows too, go all the way to the Twin Cities to play Minnesota.
You get this the Cowbells versus Warrior Boat.
Good one, sir. Then you have Tennessee. They will be singing good old Rocky Top in Atlanta. where they will be playing Georgia Tech. And then you have Arkansas going all the way in hopes of not having many players have 20 wives each as they go against Utah in Salt Lake City.
You're not going to respond to me. You're not today.
Polygamy is alive and well in Utah.
I'm gonna let that one go. He was trying to get a response out of it. That's what he was trying to do. Not today.
No, I was not. No, I was not. It's September 19th. We have September 19th. We have North Carolina State. They will be traveling to Nashville to face off against Vanderbilt. This is a key matchup because NC State is looking to be, I guess you could say, a dark horse in the ACC, and you have Vanderbilt, who basically they are a dark horse. They're looking to actually up their profile. So this is actually a really good game that we probably might see again in the bowl season. But it's a good matchup for both schools, NC State, Vanderbilt in Nashville. And then you have at the end of the season 4 rivalry games that don't involve 2 SEC schools going up against each other. You have Florida. They'll be traveling to Tallahassee to play Florida State.
That'll be Black Friday.
And that'll be on Black Friday. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that'll be on Friday or Black Friday.
How dare y'all put us on Black Friday?
Well, no. Well, see, the thing is, we have seen college football games on Friday. It's the NFL games on Friday.
I'm not talking about that. When have you ever seen Florida State play on a Friday?
I'm sorry, Playmaker. This just goes to show how little of a crap the NCAA, the SEC, the ACC, and the television networks give about this rivalry. And I'm not saying it to get under your goat. I'm saying this as an analyst. This is how little of a crap they give. Otherwise, I agree. This will be on November 28th. I agree with you.
Or they're trying to be like the NFL.
Again, we have had games, college football games, on the Friday after Thanksgiving.
No, I know that, but they took a key rivalry. No matter how you think of Florida and Florida State and what they've done in the past, this is one of their key rivalries in college football, and you threw it on Black Friday.
Look, son. They played Texas and Texas A&M on the Friday after Thanksgiving.
Oh yeah, that was last year.
No. I'm talking in the past. I mean, that was.
I know
that was commonplace.
I know. I mean, when you said it, I had to remember. Yeah, that was last year too.
It was last year.
That game took place on Friday.
I know it was last year. They played it at night. They used to play it. This is what about that game. They used to have kickoff at 10 a.m. And I'm like, why are we starting watching a football game at 10 in the morning? I mean, look, I'm a big college football fan, but still, that's a little too early. But yeah,
you know what?
Friday after Thanksgiving.
You know what? Then again, I probably shouldn't be complaining because there's another game on this list that took place on Black Friday 2 years ago. Hell of a game. So maybe I shouldn't complain. Maybe they're testing to see which rivalry can actually still be that rivalry, even if it was on a different day.
Yeah, but I'm with you though. If Florida and Florida State both become big dogs again, this game wouldn't be played on Friday; it'd be played on Saturday. I agree with you there. Speaking of which, the games played that Saturday after Thanksgiving, November 28th. You have Georgia actually hosting Georgia Tech. Wow.
And that was the game I was referring to because last time they played in that, it was actually on a Friday.
Yeah. What was it? 7 overtimes?
Yep.
Yeah.
A thrilling game, by the way.
It was. Yeah. So yeah, Georgia at Georgia Tech. That will be in Athens.
Speaking of
You
a
have the
game,
bu-
speaking of a rivalry game nobody cares about.
Yes. You have the you have the bluegrass battle between Louisville and Kentucky. They could have stuck that game on Friday.
That game is at 12 o'clock.
Again, that shows you how little of a crap the conferences and the media themselves and the NCAA give.
That game gonna be at noon.
Louisville, Kentucky. Kickoff noon Eastern. They don't give a crap. And then you have South Carolina and Clemson.
They care a little bit because South Carolina's been owning Clemson lately. So it's like, wait a minute. Dabo, you being owned by the Gamecocks. That's not how this is supposed to go.
Well, I mean, he got owned by Duke last year in Clemson.
Don't remind me, he's on a commercial.
Because he has a problem getting with the program. Being in the player's pockets. That's what his butt get. That's what your butt get. Those are your rivalry games in the must-watch non-conference slate for the SEC.
But
now, which SEC versus SEC matchup should warrant all eyes on the game? Well, how about this for size? You got Ole Miss traveling to Austin to play against Texas on October 24th. You have Texas A&M going up against LSU, which I'm scratching my head as to why this game, which is a rivalry game for both, what you want to talk about something that I don't understand? Why is this rivalry game in September? It's bad enough they moved it to October. They moved it further up the calendar.
Well,
Anyway.
they compete. They compete with another game too.
Yes, which I'm about to talk about now. Oklahoma. I'm sorry. A&M, they're going at Baton Rouge to play against LSU, and that one I'm sure is going to be under the lights. This one probably will not be under the lights. Oklahoma, they're going between the hedges to play Georgia also on September 26th. Oklahoma, they are trying to battle for turf in the SEC. Georgia is the big dog, literally. No pun intended with that one. And speaking of Georgia, they travel to Ole Miss November 7th to play them in Oxford. Now, you're probably wondering why are you talking about this game? Georgia, by the hair of their chinny chin, escaped with a victory in Athens. And then they played a wonderful, wonderful game in the national quarterfinal where Ole Miss turned the tide and beat the Dogs. Two great games with these two teams played. And I'd probably have to say SEC versus SEC matchup, this probably was the best game of the year. And they did it twice. So I don't even have to ask why you put Georgia and Ole Miss on this slate. But yes, Georgia will be traveling to Oxford November the 7th. The very next week, Texas will be traveling to LSU in Baton Rouge to play against LSU. This will be if I'm not mistaken, I think this will be the first time since 1953 that Texas is playing in Baton Rouge.
And West Thinking gonna be under the lights, and you get to feel
that
my
game.
pain.
That game, I already know. If Texas will do exactly what they did last year when they had the game under the lights in between the hedges, because it's slated in the same spot, November 15th of last year. This game will be under the lights, but it's worse to me to play LSU under the lights than to play Georgia under them. But yes, Texas, they'll be traveling to LSU. If I'm not mistaken, I think this is the first time in 73 years that they're actually going to Baton Rouge. These two teams have played in the regular season before. The last time was 2019, but that game was in Austin. And yes, if you know the year, LSU fan, I know you know, That was the last time the Tigers claimed a national championship. Texas at LSU, November 14th. That's the number 6 game in the top 10 matchup in the SEC. How about number 5? Texas, again, at Texas A&M. I'm going to tell you right now, the Texas November slate is rough and rugged. They may have a decent beginning, and they have some tests in the early. They have some tests in the early and the mid slate, but November is tough. At LSU on the 14th, and then 13 days later at Kyle Field in College Station against Texas A&M, a team that is out for revenge because they took it on the chin in Austin last year. They took it on the chin 2 years ago at Kyle Field. They do not want to hear the eyes of Texas once again played on their field with the hook'em. They want to get vengeance, does the Aggies. Texas at Texas A&M, November 27th.
And then the rivalry of the Southeastern Conference.
I'll say this. Alabama LSU is one of my favorite rivalries in the Southeastern Conference. It's going to be with a little more, of course, a little bit more oomph. So you got Kiffin on the sideline. Alabama, who these two teams play very good games, but LSU seems to always find a way to lose them most of the time. But these two teams normally play first Saturday in November. So Alabama LSU, the number 4 matchup in Southeastern Conference, all Southeastern Conference matchups. November 7th. That's number 4. Number 3, Texas A&M and Alabama, November 7th.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that you meant the 14th. Am I correct, sir?
Is it the 14th?
Or is it October 31st?
That would be nasty if it was on Halloween. That would be nasty if it was on Halloween.
Mm-hmm. Well, yes, we know Alabama and LSU, they're matching up against each other November 7th. Texas A&M and Alabama, they're not matching up November 7th. It's either October 31st or November 14th.
Yeah.
In either case, November 21st? I doubt that.
Come on. October 24th.
Okay. So, not on Halloween. A&M, they go to Tuscaloosa. They play Alabama October 24th. This actually is going to be a really good game from the standpoint of you got a possible explosive offense with a decent defense with A&M going up against a decent defense and explosive offense Alabama. I love what we might see with these two teams. That's the number 3 in the top 10. Then the game of the SEC year. I don't care what you say. LSU, Ole Miss, September 19th in Oxford. The only issue I have is SEC, you need your butts whooped. Why you have this game this early? These are rivals. You should have this game played no earlier than Halloween. But for those who want to know, the storyline is Lane Kiffin's first visit to Oxford as the LSU head coach.
They ain't wasting no time. You get you a couple games in and take your ass back to Oxford. They ain't wasting no time.
This is the game of the SEC year. LSU at Ole Miss.
I think a lot of people might be in a little disagreement with you.
Okay, I'll put it this way. In terms of the talent, I get why Georgia Alabama is number 1. That game's October 10th. Georgia, Alabama, they have been the two standard bearers of the conference for the last 20 years. I get that. I understand that game will be in Tuscaloosa. Alabama went between the hedges and handled Georgia, but when they returned to Atlanta to face against them in the SEC championship game, Georgia decided to beat them down. So yes, I get that, but I'm sorry. The big game to highlight, LSU, Ole Miss, Lane Kiffin's drama behind is going to Oxford. And it was messy how he left there, because he didn't leave at the end of the season. He left when they were still playing.
Mm-hmm. Sure did.
Messy as boom. So Georgia, Alabama's cute. Big dogs again. Big dog is big dog. Say the same thing about Texas Tech, Texas A&M. Say the same thing about Oklahoma and Georgia. We can say the same thing about Georgia and Ole Miss. The game, and I'm just talking about Days of Our Lives, Young and the Restless type of drama. The game of the SEC year. Because the week leading up to it, you could be seeing a whole lot of hype about how Lane Kiffin left Oxford. Can Lane Kiffin, with his new team, beat his old team? Can Ole Miss show that they don't need Lane Kiffin and beat down the visiting Tigers? We're gonna be hearing all that crap in the week leading up to this game.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be the normal fare of which team is better, Georgia or Alabama.
That's why it's number 2.
No. Understand. We're gonna hit the normal fare. Which team is better between Georgia and Alabama?
But we both know. We both know when those two teams get together, all eyes is on that game.
I get that. Yes, I'm not denying that.
That's the game in the SEC.
I'm not denying that. No, okay. It is. How can I put this? Perfect. You're a wrestling fan. So, SummerSlam, you had Cody Rhodes and CM Punk. That was for the undisputed WWE Championship. What match was the main event of that night?
Brock and Noble. That was night 1.
That's what I'm talking about. So Georgia, Alabama, that's like Cody Rhodes, CM Punk. LSU, Ole Miss, that's Obafemi, Brock Lesnar. That's what I mean. That didn't have a title, but it had more at stake. And yes, I get it. Georgia and Alabama, they are, like I said, they have been the stalwart teams. They have been the two standard bearers in the SEC the last 2 decades easily. No question about that. And whenever they do get together, it used to be when these two got together, Alabama was Georgia's kryptonite. But they solved that problem last year. So, yeah, it's going to be a good game. And, yeah, we're going to hear the normal.
You're giving all the reasons why that's the number 1 game.
I am. Except you got the drama of Lane Kiffin throwing 2 middle fingers at Ole Miss in the middle of the coaching season last year.
Okay.
I'm out.
Yes, why it's number 2.
No. I'm out because LSU slid a contract in my face where it said they're gonna pay for my house in Baton Rouge. They're gonna pay off my house in Oxford. And if you jokers and you turkeys actually win the college football playoff national championship, I get $1 million extra.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Ole Miss wants to blow LSU out of the water.
Let me break this down for you.
There ain't no hate between Georgia and Alabama like it is between Ole Miss and LSU.
Let me break this down for you, sir.
And there ain't no drama between Georgia and Alabama like there is between LSU and the Ole Miss. Go ahead, sir.
This is not wrestling. This is football we're talking about.
I know, but sometimes
if I was going storyline wise, you're right. Lane Kiffin going back to Ole Miss is the number 1 game. But we're talking football here in the Southeastern Conference.
That's why I'm saying
you see Georgia going to Tuscaloosa to play Alabama, SEC fans like, I'm locked and loaded for October 10th.
I know we locked and loaded for October 10th.
Because guess what? Like you said, who been the two standard bearers of the SEC?
At least easily as 20 years has been Georgia and Alabama. Yeah, I mean, I'd be a fool to not say that. Of course.
Meaning these the two teams that nobody else can knock off.
Ole Miss proved they can knock off Georgia in the playoffs.
In the playoffs. But who played in the SEC championship?
Those two teams. However, Ole Miss proved they could knock off Georgia in the playoffs. In fact, that means a whole lot more than an SEC championship.
But we're talking about the conference. We're talking about the conference.
I get that, sir. But I think I'm also saying that Georgia and Alabama, yes, they're the standard bearers of the SEC the last 20 years at least. But both have shown a lot of chinks in their armors.
Yeah,
both teams.
If we was both just teams. Doing national games, different. But we talking about the conference. And knowing how the conference is, Georgia, Alabama was number one on the list.
Okay. From the pedigree standpoint, yes, I get it. And I'm not disagreeing with you. I in terms of pedigree, yes. It is the most anticipated matchup in the SEC come 2026. No issue.
Everything
but the game of the year, is LSU Ole Miss with that funky idiot Lane Kiffin going to Oxford. And I'm pissed at him. I'm pissed they didn't move this game to November. Just let it simmer, and then just let him just get roasted.
That's why it's number 2 on the list.
I get why it's high on the list and not number 1. I get that, sir. I have been around you long enough, and you've been around me long enough. If I were to come up with this list, I probably would do, yes, LSU Ole Miss number 2, Georgia, Alabama number 1. Yes, I get the logic, sir.
When we do this is based on the conference, not the national headlines or the storyline. It is the conference and how the conference rolls. And how the SEC rolls, that game is number 1.
Okay. So you hit the nail on the head. Yes. From the conference standpoint, that's the number 1 game. Nationally, people ain't going to give as much of a crap about Georgia, Alabama than they will LSU, Ole Miss, because people want to see Lane Kiffin get his whooped in Oxford. I mean, think about it. I'm trying to think who was a good. Yeah, think about it. When Steve Spurrier decided to say bye-bye to Florida and went to South Carolina to coach there. There were other big games, but the hype was, wow, let's see how things are going to be when the old football coach goes back down into the swamp. Former coach and former quarterback of the Gators. There's a little bit of with that. That's what I'm saying. And to boot, Kiffin made Ole Miss a really good team, and he actually, I got to give him credit. Last year was his best coaching effort. And then he throws Ole Miss 2 middle fingers on his way out the door in the middle of the season. He didn't let the season finish. He's like, you all still got games to play? You got the Egg Bowl. The Egg Bowl. I'm out of here.
Actually, no. I think you got the story wrong. The school told him he couldn't coach no more if he was going to LSU. I remember that story now. Well, he was willing to stay. The school said no.
And he said, y'all. I'm gone.
Do you blame him? He said he would stay and finish the season. The school said no.
Do I blame him in making the decision to leave after the school forced his hand? No. But I do blame him for leaving that school because he built it to where it is now. And the mess is his fault. See, he could have kept his mouth shut. He could have just let it be under the radar. And then after the season was over, once Ole Miss left, he then could have said, bye, I'm gone. No. And we still would get some hype with this game. But since he left the team, whether the school forced him or he pieced out himself, which, yes, I remember. So, yes, he threw 2 middle fingers at them because he was hating on the athletic department. He left the school in the middle of the season. You remember the talk. You promised these recruits that you was going to be there all 4 years. Why are you leaving them? All that type of crap. We ain't getting that with Georgia, Alabama. That's what I'm saying. And I get what you're saying. You got the 2 teams that were in the SEC championship game last year going up against each other. And every time they play, good games happen. And every time they play, it's physical. And every time they play, it means, someone has the inside track to being the SEC champion. I get the logic. But I can get 2 craps about Georgia, Alabama. And when it comes to LSU, Ole Miss. And I'm saying that with Texas going to LSU, Texas going to A&M, Texas playing eventually Oklahoma too, and Texas hosting Ole Miss. I'm saying that with those games being good and
that's a harder one to come up with this list. I had to leave Texas OU out.
And I understand why you had to leave them out. And that is an important game. But I understand why he had to leave him out. But that's what I'm saying. You're talking to a man that knows. You got all those with that one school going. Ole Miss, LSU, A&M, Oklahoma. I would say, yeah, those are big games. Heck, to me, I think Georgia Ole Miss on the field will be a better game than LSU Ole Miss. I believe that. Personally, I think it's going to be the most competitive game, in my opinion, Georgia Ole Miss.
I'm going to put it like this. Out of all the Power 4 conferences, the SEC is probably the least one that worries about drama or headlines. It's about what's on the field.
Well, I won't complain about that. I agree with you. But they don't worry about that. The fans, though. Because let's get this straight. We're talking about a fan base in the SEC where fools will actually try to poison people.
That week though. They don't that week. When it comes that week, when whatever that Sunday before would be
that would be the 13th.
The 13th. That's when it's going to get real for that game.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with Georgia and Alabama. When that Sunday hits before October 10th, that's when it's going to get real.
So I'm with you. Logistically, yes. But all
I know what you thinking national. I'm thinking conference.
Thank you. Yes, because I'm like all the bull.
I didn't do all these for national. I did this for conference. The conference.
I get that.
These are the games in this order.
I get that. Of all the bullshit that surrounds LSU and Ole Miss.
Now, if I was doing a national type thing, you of course you know it's going to be number one.
So let's be real. We both are we are SEC fans. I can tell you historically when this rivalry meant something, and that would be 1959, 1960. But since then, when has LSU Ole Miss ever mattered this much?
It just so happened in the era where Georgia and Alabama host the conference up.
But again, and you know this to be true, the armor of Georgia and the armor of Alabama is extremely damaged.
It's getting
They
there.
both can get got
It's
by
getting
different
there.
teams, not just from one another, from other teams. They both can get got.
The problem is, you can't stop seeing them two in the conference championship.
We might this year.
I don't know. That's the question. Are we, Mr. Johnson?
We might this year. Yes, I picked Georgia to win the national championship. I mean, the conference championship. But I have your conference champion to be the one to face off against them. Georgia is my national champion. I'm sorry, my conference champion. They're not my national champion. The dark horse, I think, is Tennessee because they're talented and they just keep knocking on the door. They're going to eventually get that W against Alabama, which, if I'm not mistaken, they're playing in Rocky Top if they play this year. Or they may get that W against Georgia. I don't think they will because they'll be playing in between the hedges this year. But they're due to get one of those types of wins. So I say Tennessee's my dark horse. Steve Sarkisian. You got Archie Manning. I'm sorry, you got Arch Manning. Because if you had Archie Manning, you would have a cripple playing on the center. But you have Arch Manning.
Archibald.
He is a Heisman Trophy candidate. Probably the front runner. If you have this man on the turf 50 times this year, your butt needs to be gone from Austin now. That's why I have Texas the most under pressure, because they must, in my opinion, win the SEC this year. I don't think they're going to do it, but they must win it.
Since I know how my co-host thinks when he sees this graphic, he probably would like for me to start with a dark horse first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, why Oklahoma?
You know why? Texas has been talked about, Georgia's been talked about, Alabama's been talked about, LSU's been talked about. How often have you heard about Oklahoma?
Well, you got to understand, they got pimp slayed by Alabama. So I get why you don't really hear the talk about Oklahoma this year.
But Oklahoma didn't make the playoffs last year.
They did.
Despite having an injury quarterback.
Yeah, they made the playoffs last year, but they got pimp slayed by Alabama.
So John Mateer is now healthy. That crew is back healthy.
And here's why I'm not as big on them being a dark horse. They did go, correct me if I'm wrong, they did go to Tuscaloosa and beat Alabama last year, correct? So that's why I don't see them as a dark horse. They have the capability of doing that, but they also have the capability of wetting the bed when they actually play the same team in Norman.
My dark horse is national media type. Nobody's really.
So
We'll mention OU here and there, but it's really Georgia, Texas, Alabama, and now LSU since Lane came in there.
So we're going national stuff with this conference choice. But we ain't going national with LSU, Ole Miss being the game. Everybody gonna be selling wolf tickets for, including the media, more so than the normal. Which team actually is better in the SEC? Which team is really the big dog in the SEC? Georgia, Alabama. We've been hearing that for 20 years.
It's because this is our personal picks.
Mm-hmm.
You see the difference? This is
barely.
We pick this game. We picked these teams to do this and that and the other.
Mm-hmm.
I think people might be sleeping on OU just a tad bit.
Well, I'm not sleeping on them. I believe they have the ability to get on the cusp of the SEC championship game, but I think they will suffer like a loss to Texas and a loss to Alabama.
Let me put it to you like this. Let me put it like this: when we pick Colorado with the most pressure from the Big 12, that's because the National is pretty much saying the same thing with Colorado.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's like there's no easier choice for most pressure in the Big 12 than Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing here. The national media kind of sleeping on you just a tad bit. I think Brentford was starting to figure out how to navigate the SEC a bit. You want to go champions, or you want to go more pressure?
Oh yeah, go champion first.
Texas,
in the more pressure.
Texas. Yes, I have done this before. I've done this 2 years ago.
You did it last year.
I did it last year. And sure enough, my Gators was the one to put that to bed.
Well, no. They put that to bed for them to actually be in the playoff.
True.
Georgia put them even being in the SEC championship to bed.
I still think they wouldn't have lost to Florida. You probably would have been in over Alabama, but the Florida game did happen first, so Cole Johnson has a valid point.
Yeah. Now, did it hurt? Did it hurt that they lost to Florida for their playoff bid? You're correct. It did. Yes, no question about that.
But
Georgia,
Cole Johnson said, Arch Manning has had a wonderful year under his belt. At some point, Steve Sarkisian, you have to. This is year 3. What do I say?
Year 3.
What do I say about year 3? It's put up a shut up time, man.
Get the heck out of here. Yeah.
See, Cole Johnson.
Yes, put up a
Cole
shut up.
Johnson's a fan for Texas, so he takes each year seriously. Each year is serious.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This is my philosophy when it comes to coaching. Even when you come to a new conference, it's year 3. It's year 3. First year you made it to the conference championship, and then Kirby Smart showed you, welcome to the conference. This is how you win the conference. Year 2, you got dealt a bad hand with the scheduler, and it showed. Especially with you taking a loss in a swamp, which was not ideal. Even if it did help my Gators out, but it still wasn't ideal. Now it's year 3, Steve. It's year 3. It's put up or shut up time now. You have the talent. You have the quarterback. You yourself, you know what it's like to win conference because you won the Big 12. It's time to put up a shut up. Which leads me to my most pressure. Playmaker, you got 2 teams instead of 1. Well, guess what?
Why?
Because guess what? Who did Georgia beat?
Georgia beat Alabama, and the coach of that team is Nick DeBoer.
Not
who also is in year number 3 at Alabama. Go ahead, sir.
Nick DeBoer. Jeez. Kalen DeBoer.
Oh, sorry. Kalen, Nick, it don't matter. The clown just wets the bed. One too many times. I'm telling you, they're gonna put up a GoFundMe to get him out of Tuscaloosa one of these days.
He just answered why Alabama is in that category of most pressure. And I ain't have to say a word.
I understand why both of them are there. Sarkisian's year number 3 in SEC, and DeBoer's year number 3 as head coach of Alabama. Am I wrong?
I mean, it's kind of hard. For me, it was like, see, he picked Texas because that's his team, and it's like, okay, it's time for you to get your together.
Yeah. Think about it, man. So year number 1 in the SEC, they make it all the way to the national semifinal, although they did go to the SEC championship game and they pushed the champion into overtime before Georgia did beat them with the field goal. Year number 2, they don't even sniff the playoffs. And they don't even come close to going to the SEC championship game because they decided to wet the bed in the swamp and play absolutely horrible between the hedges. To me, I see that's a slip off. You can't slip like that again. You can't slip like that again. That's why I say you have that and you have a Heisman Trophy candidate as your quarterback. You screw both of that up, you don't need to be the head coach of Texas. That's why he is under my most pressure.
And what other?
I mean, that's why Texas is under my most
And what
pressure.
other team has the same pressure?
Except for Heisman Trophy candidate Alabama.
You went from Nick Saban to what you got now. And what year it is again?
This is year number 3 for Kalen DeBoer. Thank you for the correction.
And what did you say? If this doesn't go well, what's going to happen at Tuscaloosa?
Dude, I actually thought they were going to come up with a GoFundMe when they took an L in Tallahassee. They will say, let's just collect the fund to get Kalen DeBoer out of Tuscaloosa. Because Alabama is now Crimson Tide fan is basically they become Cowboys fan. National championship or bust. The only difference is this team actually has the talent to get there, or at least come close to getting there.
Hey, when you coach at this place called Tuscaloosa, that's just different.
And when you succeed, the greatest college football coach in the modern era, yeah, no question. Tell me, what coach in the last 40 years has made a bigger impact in college football than Nick Saban? Not a one.
So yes, that's why I can choose 2 teams for that category. It could be for different reasons, but they got the same amount of pressure.
Actually, I think it's almost for the same reason. Like I said, the only difference is Alabama doesn't have a Heisman Trophy candidate coming into the season. Not saying that they won't produce one or don't have the ability to produce one, but coming into the season, there isn't anybody on their squad that is getting preseason hype as a Heisman Trophy candidate.
So yes,
but Texas does. So yeah,
and
you scratch that off the list. Same pressure. They both have the same pressure.
So yeah, why you said there's like I could have picked one. I'm like, why would I pick one when I know 2 teams got the same amount? And I know the reasons for both.
Mm-hmm.
He just said they would do a GoFundMe in Tuscaloosa if they needed to.
Double, especially if they don't even make it to the SEC championship game, which they did that 2 years ago. So it's quite possible they could do it again this year. And I believe they won't make it there this year. And people were thinking they weren't going to make it there last year.
And they
remember when they lost to Oklahoma in Tuscaloosa. That's what they were thinking.
And ironically, the team that's in a category with them helped them out.
Yeah. And that's
they're taking out Texas A&M.
I'm about to say when Texas beat Texas A&M, that is what put Alabama in the SEC championship game. Yeah.
So yes, my one of the teams in the most pressure category is my chin because you know what? It's year 3. It's put up or shut up time. Either I'm right, or this gentleman down here will be having a flaming session.
And I want you to be right. Let's get this straight. I want Playmaker to be right. And Texas being and be the conference champion. I want Texas to be the SEC champion in their 3rd year in the conference. I don't have that much faith in Steve Sarkisian. I don't.
To be honest,
I did.
It ain't even faith. It's like, okay, here we go. You gonna do it or not? It's plain and simple.
And name me a quarterback that's gotten more hype. I'm not saying more presence or more talent, more hype coming into this season in SEC than Arch Manning.
And that brings me to Arch Manning. You got a year on your belt now. Now you know what it's like to play in the Southeastern Conference. Let's see if you have improved and you understand the game in the South.
Improved, and let's see if you've learned something. Let's see if you learned something.
There you go. That's 3 of the 4 conferences.
ACC, then the Big 12, now the SEC.
There's at least 1 conference left.
The Big 10.
The conference that has been ruling college sports thus far.
Yep, the last 3 years. Yeah, college sports, the last 8 months now.
So Big 10 fans.
8-9 months
Big
now.
10 fans, get ready. Next Wednesday, it's the Big 10. And hold on. Do we have football?
Good Lord.
We have football next week?
Good Lord. Indiana winning the national championship in football back in January. Then you had UCLA win the women's Final Four, win the women's national championship, and Michigan win the men's national championship in basketball. Good Lord, that's ridiculous.
And we have football next week.
Week 0. No, week -1. No. Week 0.
Oh, we have.
So excited.
We have. And plus, you'll get our playoff picks. That should be fun.
Week 0. I'm so happy.
Actually, I'll take that back. That's next week. That's week 1. I call it football playoff picks.
Thank the Lord.
But week 0 is next week.
Greedy NCAA motherfucker.
So
week 0.
Thank y'all for tuning into Bearing Down the Gridiron. Sharp Take, Smarter Debates, all college football every Wednesday, 4 p.m. during the college football season. That is Mr. Cole Johnson. I am the Playmaker down in silence. We'll see y'all next week when we talk about
the Big 10.